I'm Tiffany, and this is COMA Music Magazine's interview with Bradley from Chant. Hi, Bradley. Say hi to the nice people.
Hey, everyone.
Your music provides elements of tribal drumming, industrial, and minimalism. What inspired you to take a bunch of random objects, put them together, and start making music?
I think that I love all different kinds of music. I do love industrial music. I've always said I don't know exactly what I do is industrial, maybe more industrial influenced, but I love world music as well, tribal percussion. I went to music school briefly and studied African percussion and gamelan percussion, so as I started forming this, the electronics came from a byproduct of technology and wanting to do it all myself. The drumming came from all my love of metal and hard rock, and then everything else in between, welding drum sets and satellite dishes and all, came from my love for what I consider true industrial music, which is not so much electro as it is finding things that aren't normally supposed to be into music and inserting them into music. And so all that just kind of came together and developed as I've been doing this.
That's awesome. How excited were you when Die Krupps asked you to play drums with Jürgen for Terabyte, which is now the Twin Cities Massacre? And how did they find out about you?
Well, you know, Jürgen lives here in Austin, Texas, and has for some time, while the rest of the band is still over in Germany. He does a lot of producing for Cleopatra, which is, of course, based out of here. And so I'd met him a couple times when Martin Adkins from Pigface had come through. We had done some things, and I'd met him because he's down at the club. So I think he knew of me through the scene, and when there was a local promoter that wanted to do a Die Krupps show, and I think it was around the year that they were going to tour with Frontline Assembly, but I don't know that all that happened. Anyway, he decided, you know, if I could pull local musicians that I trusted, you know, together, I would be willing to do it. So it was the promoter that came to me first and said, I know you're busy, so I told him probably not, but, and I was like, no, don't tell him probably not. You know, so luckily it really worked out. And we did a very short show in August is how it happened. So when this came around, it just made sense after all the work to do it again. And we're real excited about this because now we're doing a full set tonight. So
I'm so excited.
So I'm very excited. It's really great working with Jürgen and the other guys in the band. By the way, I got to plug is just that Alex from Control and Steve from Lucid Dementia are the other two guys that are also in this Die Krupps All Stars. So it's going to be fun.
It's going to be very awesome. Chant was always just you, Bradley, but you added a live member, Christopher Robin, in the fall of 2011 in support of the Strong Words for Strong People tour. Will this be a permanent arrangement, or is it purely just for the tour?
It's as far as I can tell, it's permanent. You know, Chris is an old friend of mine. He played in San Antonio for a band called Emily's Gone Mad for years, and now he's in an electro rock band called Guild. He's a very talented producer, programmer, and drummer. And he was really doing tech for me on tours, and it just made sense. You know, he was the right match, and I've been wanting to expand it for a while now into a full band. I think in the coming years, what you're going to see is even more members join Chant, so long as it keeps that unique, you know, weirdness about it and doesn't become a traditional just rock band. But Chris is very involved with the show that we're planning for this next summer. We're doing a new set, new songs. New light programming as we're releasing these DVDs and these videos that we shot last year. So there's going to be a lot going on this summer. So
Strong Words for Strong People was released in October of 2010. Is there a new album in the works, or you're purely focusing on playing shows at this point in time?
So here's the timeline. This is what's planned. I'm real excited about this. In just a few weeks, the song I have on Strong Words called Revolt, we actually shot a music video for it in August, and we shot another music video for the song Need in November. I had to put those projects on the back burner for some other reasons, but we are back full force, and May 18th is the release date for the video. It'll be up online everywhere. We're releasing a limited edition DVD to go along with that that's going to have 4 or 5 remixes on it. It's going to have behind-the-scenes footage of how we made the video. It's all about, you know, revolting against authority and police interrogation. Then, in August of this year, we're going to release the Need video with another limited edition DVD with behind-the-scenes footage. That's kind of serial killer-esque because it's all about lust and, you know, the urge that and compulsion that a serial killer feels for someone. So that's what that song's about. It's kind of written like it could be about a few things, but So with that, you're going to get a lot of remixes this year, 1 or 2 new tracks possibly. I hope by the end of the year we're going to put out a short EP.
Nice.
Because I think you're going to see some things really take a turn with Chant. I'm not sure what direction yet, but the stuff I'm writing is... There's a lot of difference between the first album I did, That Which Divides, and Strong Words, and I think by the time I come up with a third record, it's going to be even different from those two. So I'm targeting 2 DVD releases this year with remixes, a short EP at the end of the year, and a new album in 2013. So I'm going to be very busy, and shows all in between, definitely.
We like that a lot. All right, so actually just running on what you were just talking about, you are collaborating with underground filmmaker VJ Greek Fire on a series of music videos to accompany songs from Strong Words for Strong People, Revolt and Need, like you had mentioned. Any reason for you choosing VJ Greek Fire for this project?
Absolutely. I played a South by Southwest show a year ago, right before I met you guys and went on the Lord's tour or whatever, and we were a day away from this, and I'm playing, and I'm looking up across the courtyard, and there's this giant screen. There's South by people, business people, and then there's the people there for the industrial show we were doing, and he's got just very subversive dark imagery shooting up on the wall, making everybody uncomfortable, and I loved it. And I'm playing my show looking at them staring up and being confused, and I'm like, man, I gotta meet that guy. And sure enough, when I got done, he came to meet me and asked me if he could do a demo reel to one of my songs. And he wanted to pick Revolt, I believe, and I told him no, because I want to do a music video for that. But why don't we collaborate on a music video? So the reason why I like working with VJ Greek Fire is that he has helped me in my creative process make sure that I do something that even I normally probably wouldn't do. And I always like involving 1 or 2 people that will push me a little bit further. And he's done that for me. He's very critical about what he does, and so am I, so we share that trait. I really don't like to release something unless I really am 110% behind it. So it's just been a really good collaboration, and that's what inspired me to work with him. I think that we're going to come... It won't seem like a local, regular industrial music video. It's going to be like a short music film. It'll be really cool, so I'm excited.
I'm actually very, very excited. Okay, Point and Click has to be one of my most favorite songs you've put out so far. Well, at first I thought it was just about guns and all the regulations and stuff. It also seems to be about internet speech and freedom of speech, and people taking too much say of what's on the internet. What is the actual main reasoning behind this song?
It's one of my favorite songs to play live too, and it's more about an observation of the gun debate, rather than saying I'm for it or against it. And it's more about an observation of how people try to utilize their free speech, whether it's about the gun debate or whether it's on the internet. People are so quick to criticize and jump on people on YouTube or Facebook or what have you. And at the end of the day, when all that is spilled out and all the complaining is done, nothing's really been solved. And it's just observing that, not preaching. So that's really what it's about, is just the observation of it. I think I said this in an interview a few years ago, because that song came out a while ago, was just that, I think that the guns are a little bit out of control in America, and when you look at the streets and you look at the people that are affected by it, I think if we're not admitting that, then there's something wrong with us. But at the same time, I never want the government ever to be able to own anything that a citizen can't. The government should fear us. And so I'm never saying, we should limit it, but we need new solutions. So that's kind of what that song's all about. Could talk about it for a while, but that's the gist of it.
That's why I had to ask. I love that song. Texas industrial legends Evil Mothers has regrouped for 3 exclusive reunion shows in June in their home state of Texas, and you've been asked to perform drums and metal percussion for their live show. I know their sound focused on a lot of fusing guitars and tribal drumming, and with Chant being so heavily infused with tribal drumming, what was the factor in them asking you to perform with them?
I think, again, I'm fortunate that with what I've done with Chant over the last 5-6 years, I've met a lot of people, and one of the people I met was Curse Mackey, who at the time was singing for Pigface, and of course he's the ringleader behind Evil Mothers. We're both from Texas. He's from San Antonio, that's where they were based out of. So I'd met him several times. He's seen Chant several times. He knew what I was doing. And it really came down to, which original members were going to join and be a part of their reunion shows last year. And the metal percussionist just either couldn't do it or wasn't able to do it. And they asked me, Curse asked if I'd be willing to do it. And it just so happened that because they were going to do their Texas shows and I lived here, I was able to squeeze it between Chant and everything else I was doing. It was a great experience. It was so fun to be able to play those Evil Mother shows and that early 90s industrial. There's even the guitar sounds, you don't get that with some of the industrial bands coming out today. And to get all those guys up there that were playing and touring with Pigface and, and Psychic TV and all of those bands in the early 90s and hearing that guitar sound, they have those same guitar amps. It was just amazing. So it was a really good experience. People have asked me, are we going to do any more Evil Mother shows? I think that there could be a possibility, but it will all depend. All of those guys are doing some really cool projects on their own. And we'll just see what happens this next year, see if they decide to do some more reunion shows, because it sure was fun when we did them.
All right. I have one last question for you. With you being based in Texas and the whole issue that happened with the Terabyte Festival, how do you feel about how the scene has risen against the adversity and come together and banded to actually bring bands such as DeCrupps and Solemn Assembly and all the bands that have played this last few days in San Antonio and Austin?
You can't say anything but that it's really inspiring, obviously. There are bands that were counting on having a place to play that drove a long way. You guys flew from Arizona. I think that I've always known, and sometimes I'm involved with it. I admit I wasn't very involved with saving this fest. I was certainly down for playing or not playing to leave slots for other bands if that's what needed to happen, because I'm already here. Some people can stay at my place, the whole 9 yards. But everybody involved with the Austin music scene here have always been that way. So it doesn't surprise me at the same time. It inspires me, but it doesn't surprise me, because something about the underground, dark, subversive subculture of music is that because it's a smaller set of people, it's in our nature to help each other out. There's a do-it-yourself mentality anyway, so you can always pull this off. And the festival about 6 months ago almost got canceled, and sure enough, everybody pulled together and made it happen anyway. So it's ridiculous for to think that it would and that people wouldn't step up and do something. So it's really good, and I think it'll continue to happen. I think there's a lot of conversation about the scene and are you supporting the scene or the state of the scene. The scene is what you make it. It always is what you make it. And I think maybe people think that in the early 90s, since if they didn't experience that industrial with Nine Inch Nails getting notoriety and Ministry getting notoriety and becoming almost on that platinum selling record, that was how the music industry was at the time anyway. Those are some exceptional examples, but in the end, there was still an underground scene that didn't happen unless everybody pitched in. It's always been that way. I think a lot of people feel like it shouldn't be this much work, but it's always going to be this much work. 20 years from now, you're going to get the same conversation. So just get in there and do it, and don't be afraid to find. And we've got it easier nowadays. We've got Facebook. We can meet people. All these people that came from New York, I've never met them, but I already know them right when they walk in the door. So we've got a lot of tools to our advantage. We got to use them and just keep pushing. So that's what we got to do.
All right. Any last words or anything else you'd like to talk about?
No, except it's really cool to keep running into COMA magazine. You guys are great. And I'm going to be in Phoenix for James Bound Horns and Halos Fetish Ball. It'll be the second year in a row I've done the May event, and I will be there in about 4 weeks. So maybe I'll see you there again. So that'll be fun. So good deal.
Well, thank you very much, Bradley. It was
a
pleasure.
You bet. Always good talking to you, hon. Cool.